652 KTRS. Jake Ansler filling in for McGraw Millhaven. And on the phone with us right now is Karen Travers, ABC News correspondent from Washington. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. We're monitoring the Trump transition, of course, while he's on vacation for the holidays down in Florida. And we have a new position that he announced yesterday, a top official who will be in the inner circle in the White House, tasked with looking at cybersecurity issues, counterterrorism, and homeland security. That's Thomas Bossert, who previously was part of the George W. Bush administration, not something we've been seeing a lot of as Trump has named cabinet secretaries and West Wing staffers, not turning to that previous Republican administration like maybe some would have expected.
Any idea why, in this instance, the administration is going with a former Bush aide?
I think there's a sense that you want to have this experienced hand who's dealt with these issues front and center while he was an official in the Bush administration. And he's also been doing this through a private consulting firm over the past couple of years. So there's that public and private sector experience right there. Cybersecurity is not part of the title, but it is certainly going to be one of the top priorities on day one for the Trump administration. And it's something that you've seen a lot of skepticism from Donald Trump when it comes to who was behind the Russia hacking? How much is China hacking the U.S.? The Obama administration's clear cut saying it was Russia. This is what our intelligence agencies are telling us. Donald Trump not buying that, and this position is going to be tricky then, I think.
Does the nomination here for this position indicate that the new administration is taking this more seriously, or is this kind of yet again a pick that is dismissive of the particular position?
I think until we know more of what Bossert thinks of this, and we don't. You know, he's been working in the private sector. He's not a lawmaker who we hear give speeches or press conferences all the time. Mike Flynn, who's the national security advisor, we know his views on things because he's been out there very publicly speaking. I think until we hear that, it's unclear maybe of, is this a sign that they're taking it more seriously, or is it somebody that signs on to Trump's view of this whole very critical situation?
The administration, the incoming administration, also named a new position for Jason Greenblatt.
Yeah, this is a very wide-ranging portfolio.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. This name, what in the world does a special representative for international negotiations do?
Doesn't it sound like pretty much everything at this point?
Isn't that what the Secretary of State and
well, you know, you heard Donald Trump on the campaign trail talk so much about making deals, that's what he was going to do. He was not going to get the United States involved in bad deals for the American people. This is from his own experience as a businessman, deals, deals, deals. So this position is the special representative for international negotiations. And the statement from the Trump transition team says that, you know, this position, because of the work Jason Greenblatt has done, will build consensus on difficult and sensitive topics, bring parties together. But he hasn't really said exactly on what. So I think if you're him, you might have a large briefing book on your desk on that first day in the White House.
What is Mr. Greenblatt's background? What makes him special representative for international negotiations?
Very close to Donald Trump. He's worked for the Trump Organization for over 2 decades, and he's currently its executive vice president and chief legal officer. So when Donald Trump talks about the deals he's done, you can be assured that Jason Greenblatt has been a big part of that. And, you know, in some ways it's a comfort position, too, of bringing somebody in that you've sat in the room with hammering things out. That provides comfort when you're doing it on the international level.
Any indication on where he will start his international negotiations?
No, not yet.
There was some excitement at Trump Tower yesterday.
There was. This was right as I was leaving yesterday. I started getting the bulletins and emails. A suspicious package, a false alarm evacuation that turned out to be a backpack with some toys in it left in the lobby of Trump Tower. You know, here in Washington, this happens all the time at the White House fence, somewhere on the side of the street. So, you know, try not to get too spun up about it so you don't encourage somebody else to do it the next time just to cause some headlines or cause a commotion. But yes, yesterday there was this evacuation, but it turned out to be nothing. And of course, Trump isn't there. He's down in Florida.
We were talking about this earlier. The people in Trump Tower must be going crazy. You know, at the White House, you understand what it means to work in the White House. Right. There's security, there's the president, there's all that. But when you go to work at Trump Tower, you know, you don't expect to be evacuated on a daily basis.
And, you know, there's also the quirky thing about Trump Tower is that the lobby is considered a public space. So, you're watching that video feed on cable or wherever and seeing just, okay, Kanye West comes in for a meeting. Mitt Romney comes in for a meeting. And who's that guy who looks like he's eating a sandwich in the corner? Because everybody can kind of just stroll around, and that's how backpacks get left and things get left behind. It's a very unusual circus-like atmosphere up there right now that I'm sure the people who aren't affiliated with the Trump organization and live and work there must be rolling their eyes about a lot.
Do you get any sense from the Secret Service or others that they're starting to become a little frustrated with having to protect Trump Tower as well as all the other duties that they have?
They certainly would not say that, but there was a little bit of a public Twitter spat yesterday. One of the things that's getting a lot of attention in the New York tabloid media especially is the high costs that are going to securing that skyscraper. And not just Trump Tower, where the president-elect lives and works, but some of the other properties as well. There's one that's closer to ABC that I walk past, and that has security around it too. Not as much, but there's still a presence there. And the mayor of New York, very liberal, progressive Democrat, is not happy with how much money that his city's having to put out. And yesterday, his press secretary sent out a tweet saying to the Trump people, "We'll send you the bill for the security costs yesterday and the evacuation." And guess who did not like that? The Trump team did not like that very much. So a bit of
it's all going to be different in this new administration. Thank you so much, Karen Travers, ABC News correspondent.
Thanks.